People think trauma is a loud explosion. For me, it was a quiet, sickening slide. I was 13 when my dad, my protector, didn't come home from work. The heart of our house stopped beating that night. I watched my mother transform from a woman who baked Sunday pies into a ghost who lived in a haze of gin and shadows. I remember the sticky rings the bottles left on our coffee table, and the way the lights stayed off because the bills weren't paid. When the social worker finally took me away, I didn't cry. I was already empty. I thought foster care would be my sanctuary. But I was just a paycheck to them. In that house on Miller Street, the doors didn't have locks for my protection. They had locks to keep me in. I learned to be invisible. I learned that my body didn't belong to me. When I was 16, a guy named Marcus saw me crying at a bus stop. He gave me a burger and a hoodie because I was shivering. He told me, "I'll take care of you, princess." I didn't realize that taking care of me meant stripping away what little soul I had left. I ran away with him that night. Within a week, the hoodie was gone, and I was in a motel room with a price tag on my head. For 3 years, I existed in the gray. I saw the sun through tinted car windows. I knew the layout of every truck stop and basement from here to the coast. Marcus didn't hit me often, he didn't have to. He just reminded me every day that no one was looking for me. "You're trash, Kamsi," he'd say, "and trash doesn't get to go home." I started to believe him. I looked in the mirror and saw a stranger with dead eyes. I was 19, but I felt 90. I had forgotten what it felt like to be touched with kindness. It was November. I had escaped through a bathroom window of a diner, not even knowing where I was running. It was pouring cats and dogs. I saw a small community chapel, just a room with some folding chairs and a cross. I collapsed in the back row, soaking wet, smelling like smoke and regret. I was ready to end it. I closed my eyes and whispered, "If there's anyone out there, just finish me off." But instead of an end, there was a beginning. A warmth started at my feet and moved to my heart. It felt like a physical hand on my shoulder, and then I heard it. It wasn't an ear-splitting shout. It was a whisper that vibrated in my bones. "I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have seen every tear. You are not trash, you are my daughter." I didn't just hear the words "I love you." I felt them reconstruct the shattered pieces of my heart. I wept until the floor was wet, but for the first time, those tears weren't bitter. They were a cleansing. After that night in the chapel, the world didn't change, but I did. I realized that the people who hurt me used my ignorance of the law as a weapon. They told me I had no rights, no voice, and nowhere to go. I decided right then. I was going to become the person I needed when I was 16. I started with my GED while working 2 jobs, one cleaning offices and another at a grocery store. My back ached, and my past whispered that I wasn't smart enough. But every time I wanted to quit, I'd remember that whisper in the chapel. "You are my daughter." If the creator of the universe believed in me, who was I to disagree? I didn't just pass. I thrived. I put myself through college, and then, with a fire in my belly that no one could put out, I got into law school. The first time I walked into a courtroom as an attorney, my heart was racing. But it wasn't the fear I felt as a foster kid. It was power. I stood before a judge, representing a 14-year-old girl who looked exactly like I used to, terrified, eyes darting to the exit, waiting for the world to fail her again. I leaned over and whispered to her, "I've got you. You're not alone anymore." I didn't just win that case. I found my purpose. I specialized in juvenile advocacy and human trafficking law. I've spent the last 5 years dismantling the very loopholes that allowed men like Marcus to operate. I don't just defend children. I fight for their futures with the ferocity of someone who knows exactly what's at stake. People ask me how I survived. I tell them it wasn't my strength, it was God's love through Jesus Christ that found me when I was lost. I went from being a file number in a social worker's cabinet to a member of the Bar Association. I went from having no voice to being the voice for the voiceless. My name is Kamsi. My past was a prison, but my future is a platform. And if you're out there feeling like you're too broken to be fixed, just remember, the same hand that picked me up is reaching for you too. Thanks for watching.